What's going on, guys? Mike here, and in this video, we're going to be going through the Viral Script Writer. This is the brand side training. You should have just gotten access to the Viral Script Writer. Now I'm going to show you how you can get the most out of it and why it's important to use, why you really got to be in there using this thing. Now, I've been building this tool behind the scenes for a while. This thing is my baby, and I'm thrilled with the results that we've seen so far. We rolled this out to our community less than 2 weeks ago. I think it's been like 10 days at this point, and the results we're seeing, it's insane. So our agency, we do between 5 and 10 million GMV every single month. TikTok kicks all of that data back to us, right? So we get video level data, seeing exactly what videos are driving sales. A lot of the tools out there are kind of like estimates, but we're getting the real data back from TikTok. We took that data, leveraged our tech team, a bunch of different AI tools, and we built this viral script writer. And I kid you not, we get a post like this every single day in our community. We have just, tons of these screenshots. Viral script writer, 500,000 views. Mike, I know this is your baby. Just coming on here, say thank you. The video is climbing over 8K GMV in 48 hours. Here's another one. The viral script writer is fire. My posts have been in such a slump, but I'm grateful I came across Melissa. She's one of our coaches, talking about this because it's absolutely worth it. Thank you, my grandma, for creating this in 2 days. Over 16,000 views with 18 sales. So this thing's taken, creators that might be struggling, with views. We're seeing creators that go from like 200 to 1,000 views just to start hit 10K, 100K views. Creators that are stuck, not doing too much GMV, starting to hit 5-figure months. Here's Christy. If you're wondering if the viral script writer is worth it, the answer is absolutely. I have never seen views like this. Typically getting 600, 500, 300 views. First video of the script writer, 30,000. We have tons of screenshots like this. People are loving it. They're getting crazy results. And so now it's time for you as a brand to start leveraging this tool. I'm going to show you guys how it works, how to get the most out of this. All right. So why does this matter? Why is this important for brands on our platform when you're going and you're hiring creators? The best results that we're seeing on our platform come from brands that already have a dialed in strategy, and they just tell the creators to execute, right? You can say, hey, here's the plan. Here's exactly what I want you to do. Go and do it, right? When a creator just has something, a script written out, a perfect brief, they can go execute on that. One, creators like that because it takes less time for them, right? They don't have to think as much. They're just going and creating the content that you want to see. And it also, leaves like less room for error, less room for interpretation, where you're like, oh, I really wanted him to do this, but he ended up doing this and it's not what I wanted at all. And it's not performing. And then also at the end of the day, it's your brand, right? You are going to be the one that's going to put the most effort and the most thought into it. The creators are great, but at the end of the day, these creators, like, they're probably making 100 videos a month. They might be making 150 videos a month, working with like 6 other brands. At the end of the day, when you go and hire some creators, it is a paycheck to a lot of them, and yes, they're going to put effort in. Yes, they want to do as best as they can. But at the end of the day, it's your brand. No one's going to put more effort in than you are. So if you can come to creators with a fully dialed in strategy, dialed in scripts built out, just hand it over them and say, hey, this is exactly what I want you to do. They go execute on it. That is where we are seeing the best results on the platform. So I'm going to walk you through how we're going to go about doing that. Now, before we get into the actual tutorial of the tool and the best way to use it, this is a question we get all the time, is like, hey, should I just tell them like exactly what videos to make? Like if I hire them for 5 videos, I just give them the list of 5. What I would recommend is giving creators a little bit of freedom to pick and choose. So let's say you're hiring in a bundle of like 5 videos. I might give them 10 or 15 scripts that I think are amazing. Maybe you're like required, hey, you have to do this one. And then for the 4, you can pick out of this list of like 10 or 15. That just gives them a little bit of freedom, a little bit of flexibility, because maybe there's, certain script that you write that doesn't really resonate with them, or, there's a certain tone, a certain style that they feel like they could do better. So I would recommend going more, right? If you're going to hire someone for 5, you might want to give them a list of 10 that they can kind of pick and choose from, or maybe you go generate 30. And now when you go and you hire 20 creators, you give them the list of 30, and now you're going to get creators kind of like picking and choosing different ones. That's how I would go and execute on this. So let's talk through best practices. I'm going to walk you guys through like the 3 steps that I think you should go when using this. And the first one's going to be competitive research. You got to figure out what's working, right? You have your product. Now you want to go out there and see people with similar products, right? Similar brands. What are they doing? What angles are they taking in their videos? What pain points are they talking about? What hooks are working? The formats, right? Are they leaning heavily into storytelling? Are they going the conspiracy style? Are they doing skits? Are they doing super short, like 7-second videos with text on screen just showing the products? You got to figure out what's working. Got to do the competitive research. This video is a little bit less about that. We'll get into it and how you can go about. But once you do some competitive research, you figure out what's working. You're also going to want to gather all of your product details, right? This tool, you know, garbage in, garbage out is what they say. If you don't feed it with the right information, you're not going to get the best scripts. So we want to take some time and actually like put together, a 1-page or a 2-page document that goes in depth on your product. Talks about what are the benefits, what makes your product unique, what are the pain points that it solves. Get all of this together. What are the, different audiences you want to go after? Get all that together. You just got to do that one time, get it in one document, and then you feed it into the tool. Cool. Now it knows everything about your product, right? Because it's not going to be able to write a great script for your brand if it doesn't really know too much about your brand. So we're going to want to put that together. And then step 3 is the script generation, the fun piece. Now, let's do this together, right? Let's write a few of these together. So I'm going to go back. First thing we're going to do, a little bit of this competitive research. We'll do it together just briefly. All right. For the sake of this video, I worked with ChatGPT a little bit and I had to just make up a brand for us. So for this whole exercise, we're going to be pretending that we are this brand called Solomate, sun-powered energy that feels like a hug. It's a yerba mate power, but it's got adaptogens in there, cold dissolved sticks, 20 single serve, $29, mint, spiced guava. And I went together and, had ChatGPT put this like quick 2-pager, or actually 4 pages together. Just a little bit about the brand, right? So like what makes our brand different, the benefits, core reasons to buy, use cases, personas, objection crushers, quick FAQs, is it vegan, sustainability, pregnancy safe, call to actions. You want to do this for your brand, right? You can have ChatGPT help you out with this, but it's something that you're going to want to do. It's going to make the scripts way better because it can go in and pull out like real information about your product. So go ahead and do that. Then I would recommend actually just downloading it as like a PDF so it can be fed in. So that's the first thing. Now, I like to use Callow Data. There's a lot of other tools out there. Fastmoss is another one. We're going to go ahead and we're just going to go do a little research on other yerba mate brands that are out here. So this is like the #1 biggest product on TikTok. So you want to go in and you want to see what is working, right? You want to go watch some of these videos. And now I wouldn't recommend just like taking every single video and being like, yep, we're going to do this exact same strategy. You kind of got to pick and choose what resonates for you and what you think is going to work for your brand. For example, this first one, using like Trump as a hook, and there's a bunch of these videos that are kind of doing that same thing. Whereas you might be like, hey, I don't really want to go with that angle as a brand. Now in here, something that I see is like this fruit cutting video. These are huge on TikTok. These fruit cutting videos, I'm a big fan. I think the like storytelling angle with, something visual, it's a great way. Um, it's a great way to go about things because videos like this, kind of like the, you know, Trump hook or like this right here, that's just like pretty much just strictly talking about weight loss. These are, they tiptoe along the lines of compliance with TikTok. And so when you're going to a creator, asking them to make this style of video, it's a little bit trickier because it is a gray area. You're technically not allowed to sell anything that's like weight loss related. And so you're gonna get some pushback. So I would try to find some things that are working. You can still be edgy because edgy does work on TikTok. But you don't want to you don't want to cross that line of compliance too much. So anyway, we're going to take this video because I like this a lot, right? Things that, what was it? Things that tourists do that scream, I'm an American while in Japan. Super unique hook. I've seen a bunch of videos like this. We'll show another one later where they're like, it's a big storytelling element in here. So I'm going to go and I'm going to download this script. If you don't have Calo data, you're not paying for Calo data. There's another tool that we own. It's called TalkScript. Script.talkaudit.io. If you just type in TikTok's transcripts generator, it'll be the first one. There's a ton of other ones. It's completely free. There's a bunch out there. But what it allows you to do is you can just go in and you can take, I'm just going to grab this one so we don't lose it, put it on a new tab here. I'm just going to show you how this works though. You take the TikTok video link, you copy it, you paste it in here, hit start, and then it'll get the video and the transcript for you with the timestamps as well. So if you don't have Calidata or one of these tools, it's completely free. You can do that. Now, I'm going to continue to go through and I'm just going to find other videos, right? So here's like another yerba mate one. We can go through, check out other brands as well. So like here's a separate brand, scroll through, see if anything, okay, yeah. So here's another angle that's going crazy on TikTok. Is like this is better than Ozempic, or it's like nature's Ozempic. That's going, those angles are going viral right now. Now, it's another one that's like kind of teeters on the edge of compliance here. So people try to find ways to get around it. I'm going to grab this one though. Oh, that was translate. I'm going to grab this one anyway, even though it's a little bit of a stickier situation. Okay, so look, it looks like this video actually got banned. Let's click it. Maybe not. Anyway, we're going to throw this one in here. We're just going to get this script. Now you can do this with like a bunch of videos too. I'm just going to do it with like, I don't know, let's call it 3. Okay, so here's another brand. Sea moss gummies, right? It has nothing to do with our product. It has nothing to do with yerba mate. But if you're selling a supplement, right, you can kind of just check out other supplements. If you're selling, I don't know, a certain gadget, you can check out other gadgets, even if it's not the same product, because the frameworks are really what you're looking for. So I'm going to go to this first video. This one, mega viral. This one's done, let's see, 33,000, 10 million views. So I'm going to click this link. We're going to do the same thing here. Right, so similar, it's like a fruit cutting video, kind of similar to the first one. I grew up with the original Almond Mom, and I won't play the whole thing right now, but she basically just like tells a whole story, right? It's this huge storytelling angle, which I really, really like that style. TikTok also does. Something I would recommend is like there's kind of this fine line again of like what's compliant and what's not, but like the storytelling angles, it's just proven and TikTok likes it. So I'm going to go copy and paste that. So now I got 3 scripts that I like. So now I'm pretty happy with where we're at. You can do as many of these as you want, but this is one way that I would recommend using the script writer. So we're in here, and first things first, I'm going to feed it our product information. All right, so I'm uploading the yerba mate soulmate product information, and I'm just going to tell it. I run a brand called Soulmate Yerba Mate. See attached document for product/brand information. Now, before feeding it the transcripts, I'm just going to start with this, and I'm going to say, can you give me 5 ideas/angles for TikTok shop videos for my brand? A lot of times I like to start with just ideas before we go and we just say, hey, write me all of these scripts, or, write me all these different angles, I like to just get the idea first. So let's see. It's going to give us 5 concepts. 10-second energy water. Now, what you'll notice here is every single time it's going to give you what's known as a hook trifecta. One of our coaches kind of coined this name. But if you look at any viral video or high converting TikTok shop video, it's like 80 to 90% of the time, they're all going to have a hook trifecta, which means there's a verbal hook, they say something, there's a visual hook, they're doing something very interesting, and then they have a text on screen. So if we go back and we look at these, here's a perfect one. I grew up with the original Almond Mom. That's the verbal. The visual, she's doing something really interesting, right? She's like slicing a zucchini or a squash, whatever that is. And then there's a text on screen, Almond Mom Trauma, right? So she hits all 3 of those. This one, same thing. Don't do this if you're from the USA. She's like cutting a melon, and then she has like the verbal hook too. Um, Now this one doesn't have the actual text on the screen. She's got 2 out of the 3, which is typically if you see 2 out of 3, it's that, right? So the visual hook is like, it's super subtle, but there's always some type of like movement or something interesting, right? If you're trying to go like this. So that's the hook trifecta. You guys will always see those in here. So let's just break these down. Verbal hook, coffee could never do this. Watch. Visual hook, creator dumps a soulmate stick into a clear hydro flask. Starts a phone stopwatch, then snap shakes once, powder vanishes before the timer hits 10. Okay, that's pretty cool. What we said in this document was that was like one of the big selling points, I believe. Yeah, was like the cold water dissolving technology, right? It's like this one, that's something that, based on our document, it's going to lean into a lot because we're putting that as like the number one unique thing is like, hey, ours actually like blends way better than everyone else's, right? So it's pulling this from our information. My drink makes itself in 9 seconds. Break the coffee curse. Day on coffee versus day on this. Guess which one crashes first. Split screen. Left side shows jittery. Right side shows steady workflow. Text on screen, jitters or gentle buzz. Brain and gut high five. Verbal hook. One sip feeds my neurons and my microbiome. How? Visual. Desktop POV. Cool. Limited drop flavor roulette. All right. So I won't read through all these just for the sake of time, but what you want to do is just kind of continue to ask it for ideas and just see what sticks out to you. So I'm gonna see if there's one that I like here. Ever scanned GPS coordinates on your drink? I just did. That's interesting. Green screen. Creator holds stick pack while the background flips from satellite map to their farm. Quick shout out, clip farm. Radical transparency check. Social proof. Okay, so I wonder if we said something about radical. Yeah, what is this? Radically transparent sourcing. Single farm. Oh, that's pretty cool. Receipts live. Okay, so that's interesting. We this is like I was wondering why ChatGPT was giving us this with like the GPS coordinates. But that's like one of our product benefits is like we get all of the ingredients from this like single farm in Argentina and there's like GPS coordinates, I guess, geopin on the product maybe. So that's a pretty interesting one. Um Now, what you could do is you could go ahead and say, I love the first one. Let's generate the full script. And it'll go ahead and it'll write that full thing for you. Cool. So it writes the full thing. And then what I like to do sometimes is I'll just ask you, I'll say, can you make the hook way more visual and scroll stopping? So that's one thing I like to lean into is always ask it to like go a little bit more extreme, right? Extremes on TikTok do really well. Something I like to do, we'll go back into here real quick, are, some other things to add to your scripts is if you can do anything that's like kind of edgy or even sexual, that stuff works so well on TikTok. Skits work really well. So asking this to generate skits, storytelling, we'll get more into that. dramatic demonstration, that's kind of what we're doing right now. But if the more like dramatic in your demonstrations you can be, conspiracy or celebrity style, those do really well. That's something you can ask it. Open loops, the most scroll stopping hook you can think of. Yeah, so a lot of times I'll push it to be a little bit more scroll stopping. All right, so now let's see what it said based on the, push to be a little bit more scroll stopping. Verbal, laughing. Bet coffee can't survive this drop. Watch. Visual. Super slow mo. Creator tosses a half full clear hydro flask straight up, rips a stick with their teeth midair, and the neon green powder explodes like confetti, spinning in the bottle. All right, so maybe this one's like a little bit too extreme. Text on screen. Physics said I shouldn't mix this. It does. Product name visible. All right, so that is how you go back and forth with it. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of have it restart. I'm going to say, here is a script that is performing really well on TikTok. And I'm going to just drop the script in there. Can you make a version of this, but for my product? Let's start with 3 ideas before writing the full script. So now we're taking a proven framework. We're taking a video. I think I gave it, what was the first one here? Tourist. Okay, yeah. So I gave it this one. Like, don't do this if you're from the USA. Here's what like tourists in Japan are doing. And then into the video, let's see. Yeah. Into the video, she plugs the yerba mate. So let's see what this one does. I think we said that ours is like from Argentina. So maybe it might give us some Argentina stuff in here, but let's see. 3 concepts, riffs on the tourist mistake format, each plug and play. Okay, so I also forgot to say, for context, so this, of course, doesn't know what the visuals are. It just knows the text. So you got to give it some context on the visuals. For context, the visuals on that example was a woman cutting a melon on screen. So I'm going to give it that too. So it knows a little bit more about like what the visual element was. Co-working space giveaways, music fest, rookie fails, coffee prison habits. Ooh, coffee prisoner habits. That's an interesting one. So let me read these while it's working on the other ones. Verbal hook. Raise your hand if you've microwaved yesterday's coffee. Again, visual creator walks into a outdoor co-working space. Text, digital nomad rookie mistakes. Okay. Music fest one, coffee prisoner habits. This is interesting. Verbal, tell me you're a coffee hostage without telling me. Visual, fast zoom on a desk scattered with empty mugs. Creator adds another text, coffee prisoner checklist. All right, so let's do this one. So I don't like these actually. I'm gonna say, give me the tourist angle, similar to the example I provided. All right, so now let's see what it says. Clarifying users request. So I kind of want it's going a little bit outside of the box, being a little bit more creative, but I want it to kind of stick in the box for this one. I want it to give us something much more similar to this one. And then what we're going to do is, I love this like almond mom kind of vibe. So we're going to use this one in our next. All right. Tourist mistakes in Argentina. 4 rookie moves that scream, I'm an American in Argentina. Don't be that tourist. Visual. Knife cleaves a grapefruit in slow-mo. Bright juice sprays toward the camera. All right. So using the, cutting the fruit. Text on screen. Tourist mistakes. And then it just goes through the rest of this. Nice. All right. So now we're going to feed it one more example. I'm going to give it this, like the almond mom one. And I'm just going to say, here's another example that is performing really well on TikTok Shop. Can you make a variation of this except for my brand? Lean into open loops, conflict and delayed product reveal. Also, you can play around with the model. I was just on O3. Sometimes I like the, GPT 4o a little bit more for this, but you can play around with the model to see kind of what results you like better. And let's see what we get here. TikTok shop story script. She wasn't a regular mom. She was a biohacking mom. I grew up with the original biohacking mom. And if you didn't, here's what you missed. Coffee banned. She said caffeine was for the misaligned. So she'd make us drink this murky brown tea that took 10 hours to brew in the sun. Mate cold in a mason jar with a metal straw that burned your lips. And when I say snacks, I mean chia seeds in celery. If we asked for dessert, she'd give us raw cacao nibs and say, imagine it's fudge. And the worst part, she didn't believe in pre workout. She believed in mental breathwork activation. I once fainted during JV tennis warm-ups. But here's the thing. As much as I hated it, she was definitely onto something. My friends were crashing by 3 p.m. and I was still writing essays at 10. But when I moved out, I rebelled hard. Lattes, energy drinks, espresso martinis, and I was crashing harder than ever. I texted her, fine, you win, but I'm not brewing yard tea for 10 hours. She sent me something that changed everything. This is when you pull out the product, same clean caffeine, brain fuel, and prebiotic feel-good stuff. But this thing dissolves in cold water before I can finish slicing this fruit. I get that smooth, sun-powered focus without the latte slump, the jitters, or the blender mess. Sorry, Mom, you were right, but I made it taste better. If it's still up, grab it. She's already bought 3 boxes for science. Great. So this is awesome. I love this one. I do typically prefer this 4.0 a little bit better. The first ones I was doing was with, I think, the O3 model. All right, so I'm gonna do one more final one. I know I'm kind of rambling on this video, but I just love this thing. Um, can you make a different variation, but make it way more edgy? So let's see what it gives us for something edgy. Way edgier, borderline unhinged variation. That's the stuff that does great on TikTok. I'm excited for this one. All right. My mom was basically a wellness cult leader, and I was her first recruit. That's so good. That's so good. Yeah, when you push it to be a little bit edgier, that's when the magic happens. If it wasn't green, bitter, or tasted like sadness, not allowed. She brewed tea from fermented leaves she smuggled from Argentina, swore it gave her sun-powered clarity. I wasn't allowed Gatorade. She'd make me drink this muddy, lukewarm mate that smelled like wet hay. Every sip felt like licking a mossy rock, and if I complained, jitters are a mindset. Instead of a pre-workout, she'd make me chew on a lion's mane mushroom raw. Focus is primal, she'd whisper, while blending celery, coconut vinegar, and magnesium. She made kombucha from scratch and cried when it molded. But here's the sick part. I felt amazing. No crashes, my brain was sharp, skin was clear. So of course, when I moved out, I lost my mind. Sugar-free Red Bulls, $7 lattes, by month 2, I had the attention span of a squirrel and broke out like it was 2012. So I texted her, I give up, but I refuse to drink dirt water again. She sent me this mystery neon stick and said, don't worry, no blender, no hay, just shake and sip. Literally gone before I could Google what's in lion's mane. It gives you like the text on screen to use. Tastes like sunshine kissed a yuzu. I don't know what that means. Focus is back. Skin's glowing. Gut is quiet. And the best part, I didn't have to join her mushroom cult to get here. Eyes roll the camera. If the orange card's still up, get it before she gatekeeps it again. I'm not sharing this time. That was awesome. All right, we'll end it there. Hope you guys found this one super valuable. But go ahead, start doing some research. Get all of your product info together. See what types of videos are out there that are performing really well in your niche. Feed them into here and just start to get some ideas. The hook is going to be the most important part of pretty much all of these videos. So if you can get some pretty solid hooks to send over to the creators, that's going to be a great start. Please reach out with any questions. Hope you guys found this super valuable. I'll see you on the next one.